So what exactly is your take on Russia right now? You're not exiting. Why not?
Well, we are going to exit clearly. The question is, we don't have a small operation there. We own 5 power plants, and it's not something that you can just shut the shop and walk out. I mean, so we are in the process of course, stopping investments, and so there's no more growth possible in the country at this point, and finding sensible ways of reducing our exposure and eventually leaving the country if the situation remains like that. But like I said, it's a huge operation. We're talking about 5,700 megawatts of thermal generation that needs to be safely handed over and not disrupting the service there.
So what kind of conversations are you having, and with who? Would this be selling off those assets? Would it be the Russian government taking them over?
The Russian government has issued a law, actually, that stipulates the ways in which foreigners can walk out if they wish so. And there are three different venues that are indicated in this law, and we're looking at what the legal implications are and what can be done, like I said, safely, and also with respect to our employees that are Russians that work in Russia, and they need to be also taken care of. And their interests should be somehow safeguarded.
So how quickly do you think you can exit Russia?
I think it can be reasonably fast. Obviously, it depends very much on how the Russian authorities will implement these 3 different ways in which people can safely walk out of Russia. So it's the first time that this happens. We don't have an experience like this in the past. So I think it's a matter of months, roughly.
And you've decided to exit out of what, morality, out of consciousness? Is it the Italian government that was putting pressure?
Actually, we had already started working, let's say, reducing our presence in Russia. We sold a very large power plant 2 years ago. We were in the process of selling the thermal generation because we cannot decarbonize in the Russian system. So this is a process we had started time ago. And we see growth in Russia, only renewables, but under these present circumstances, I think it's unpalatable and it's impossible. So with regret, I think we have to fold.
Mr. Starace, how are you coping with the wild price swings? Have you had to borrow to make up for some of the margin calls? The energy market is pretty wild at the moment.
The energy market is wild because gas prices are out of control. And thank God we don't have that issue in Enel. We have a policy to produce energy and sell it forward 2 years. So basically, we're talking about a system that started getting crazy about 7-8 months ago, and we're still in this 2 years time cycle. So we have fully hedged our generation, having purchased the commodities and mixed it with renewable energy, and having sold at fixed prices to our end customers. So us and our end customers, we had no impact. Margin calls, they have risen, of course, but we have a lot of cash, so this can be. We didn't have to borrow money for that. So far.
Mr. Starace, so far, do you think that's a possibility actually going forward if we see markets whipsawed like this?
I think the volatility of gas prices in Europe is totally out of control, and it should be somehow controlled and regulated for at least for the next 12 months. Without that, I think the many companies will struggle to meet margin calls, and the whole economic system will go through very turbulent times. So our idea is that there should be some kind of temporary but lasting 12 months control on the volatility of gas prices at European hubs.